All right, so we have this. So let's adjust our materials. You see what this is looking like. I'm not feeling it at all, right? So I'm just gonna double click on this and let's adjust this reflectance a bit more. And something else about the reflectance, we have something called layer Fresnel. Now there's I forget, dielectric. I think this might be, well, you know what? That's what Google's for. Dielectric, right? And so I spelled it wrong. In a property transmitting electric force, dielectric. Okay, porcelain, ceramic, glass, plastics. That's what dielectric's for, right? So what this is it's called something called Fresnel, which is like the fall off of the reflectance. So let's just go to dielectric, and if we go over here to presets, it has it's more for liquids, right? So if I go over here to like Ruby, what's that's a gem, but it changed it slightly. But we can go to the strength and adjust this. Um, but this is something you just go through and see. So it's mainly for liquids. So for this, I want to go to conductor, and then we have all these other metals. I'm messing up the definitions. I mean, yeah, these definitely are metals, but so if I go to like silver, let's say, well, let's just test it out and see what's happening. So if I press play, it changed slightly, but not too much. So mainly, I think I mess with this sometimes, but for me, it's mainly about dealing with these properties over here. So if I go to this, let's make this a little bit more. And then we have attenuation means it's kind of like how close something is to another object. But it's sometimes I just have to go through and not think about it scientifically, just think about it like what it looks like, because you can get real technical with this and put in certain values. Like there's something called IOR, which is index of refraction. Which why am I not getting that option? Conductor. No, still okay. So it's here. And so with IOR, it's called index of refraction. Let's look at this. Now let me think of let's say silver. Or you know what? I'll just type in IOR. And it should be a list. So IOR, IOR. Now, if we go right here, we look at this, and it'll give us these values for these certain elements, right? So aluminum has a IOR of 1244, and cobalt, emeralds, water has its own IOR. If I do Control F and do water, it has an IOR of 1.32. So certain programs have like a preset list, and they'll dial in the IOR for you. Now I don't know if it has it here, but let me see. Stone, moonstone, okay, 1.5. And so if you go in here and you type in 1.5, change the IOR a bit. Or remember, use it in conjunction these other. And so if I go to this brightness, of course I can change the look here. What's crazy is that diffuse changed because of the whole reflectance. Layer color, don't really mess with this. We'll go to reflection strength, the roughness. Maybe roughness is too high. but you can see it's kind of getting blown out. I feel like I went too far somewhere with this. So because I did that, I'm gonna go over here to this shiny, control click, and then I'll just name this medium 2, right? So what I'm gonna do is over here, which spheres? It's this sphere. So we see the material right here, and I'm just going to delete it. And then I'll just take this medium 2, put it up over here. I'm just gonna start over again, all right? So just double click on this. Like I said, I want it to be a little bit matte. So if I go like this and then take down this reflection strength, should get me closer to what I'm looking for. And also there are different what do you call it? Reflectance um models. So if I do remove and I just do add, so I did GGX, right? But if I do Beckman, it might give me something a little different, right? So I just go here, go to this, and then I'll change the roughness here, and then no, I'm sorry, reflection strength. And we'll look at this now. It's a little bit matte, but like I said, it's all about going through here, and you kind of have to keep testing it. See? So I turned down the reflection strength and then upped it up. Yeah, so you gotta go back and forth a little bit. Now the thing with Corona is this works a lot nicer. It has a cleaner look, you know, when you're dealing with Corona, which I'll go into. But like I said, you can get the same looks with this. I just prefer that. But also, we don't have that many lights in here, so we have this light set up. But I also like to have a dome light set up. So let's just do that, right? So we have these lights right here, but let's go get this light, get a sky, and peep this. This is how this works, right? I just put a sky on this, which is like a 360. It's basically like a huge circle right here, right? Now I want to put an HDRI in here. So if I double click right here and I go to this is how you put in HDR lighting. We'll click off of color. We'll go to reflectance and click that off. And we're going to click on luminance. Right. Matter of fact, I'll change the name HDRI. And what is HDRI? High dynamic range image. So I'll go here and I'll go to this awesome site called HDRI Haven. Oh, it's called Polyhaven now. My fault. If I go to HDRIs, go here. So we can go to this and we can choose our lighting. So let's say I want, and look at this right here, right? It has the materials and it's showing you what it looks like. If it's a transparent object, a matte object, a mirrored object, and an object that's kind of shiny. So I'm gonna go through, try to find something cool, but kind of like this a little bit. I don't know why they're usually in Europe. Looks like a nice neighborhood. So what I'm going to do is it says 4K right here. This is the one I usually use, 4K, and click on download. And you see it's coming up right here, right? And so, yeah, I have it there. So my downloads. So to add it to your object, you see the 3 dots. Anytime you see 3 dots, it means file. So I click on this. Now let's go get a file. And then let's go to, where's that? Downloads. Date. Okay. So I have it. I'm double clicking it. And I can just press yes, you know. You press yes or no, whatever. It's still going to be in here. So right now it's in here and it's in the luminance channel, which means the lights. So if I take this now, left click, I drag it onto the sky. Now it's in the viewport, right? It's looking whack, right? And that's because of it's at a low preview default size. So if I double click on this and I go to viewport, and then where it says default, I'll go to 2048. And now we can see it, right? It's looking crisp. We can see the cars. It's a 360-degree view. It's a 4K image, so if I did take it to 4,000, it should get a little bit sharper. Yeah. And so whatever resolution it is, it'll match it. And what it'll do is it'll take lights from this whole dome and it'll apply it to our scene. So let's see what it looks like. Let's go ahead. Well, let's hit the render. See what if we. All right. So now it's showing it from this angle. But if I go ahead and I get inside of my camera, now if I click it, now we see what's happening. Now the thing with this is, let's say if it's too strong. Let's say if we don't like it, we can just double click right here and we can go to luminance. Actually, let me click at this real quick. Yeah, we can go to luminance, and if I want to, I can say 200, enter, and now let's click on this. So it should be twice as bright. It doesn't seem twice as bright. Maybe I need to go further. Still doesn't seem twice as bright. So let's go over here to illumination and go to strength. Let's do it over here, 200. Let's see what happens. All right, now we're seeing it pop out. But let's go back to our luminance and change it to 100. And so the illumination tab is on 2. And basically this is what you got to do. You got to test it, go back and forth, you know? So this illumination definitely bumps it up. But if we take it to 50, let's see what we're getting. Right? It's a bit nicer. Well, that's blown out. That's nice. But then when we take it down, it kind of mellows it out a little bit. So it's looking cool. Now, if I want to if I want to not see this background, what I have to do is add a compositing tag. So to do that, I just go over here, well, I click on the sky, and then I go to what I click on. Yeah, you click on the sky, and then you go to render tags and go to compositing. And then I click on the compositing tag, and then I go to scene by camera, and you click off of this. Now you press play, and it gives you that lighting, but without seeing the background. So background, like, and we can tell it's working because if we look at it like this, so same thing. Well, a little different, but basically the same thing.